What's happening, guys? Hope you're well and welcome back to the channel. First things first, make sure you smash like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And with all eyes on the Erling Haaland transfer saga, another name that refuses to go away, that's constantly linked with Chelsea, is that of Declan Rice from West Ham United. Obviously, well documented that he left Chelsea as a youngster. No one would have thought he would have gone on to become the player that he currently is. With a shining role at the Euros for England and a great season at West Ham as they finished in Europa League football. West Ham have valued him, George, at £100 million. I cannot see Chelsea paying that much money for him. What are your thoughts on the links with Declan Rice and Chelsea that refuse to go away?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Chelsea, we've let a lot of decent players go in the past, but you can't really envisage what he was going to be and what he's turned out to be, which is a fantastic youngster with bags of potential. And let's not forget, he's also captain of West Ham, so he's got great leadership qualities for such a young man. And we also know the relationship he has with Mason Mount, which is well documented online as well. Best friends. So the link for Chelsea staying in London would make sense, and taking that, no disrespect for West Ham, but taking that step up in quality in terms of being at a side that fights for every honour. But I think West Ham are just trying to scare teams off by giving him a huge inflation of their price, which they're fully entitled to do so, particularly on the back of the year that he's had. I mean, any captain of a club plus what he's done at the Euros, he's now an England starter. I think you're already looking in today's market, above that £70 million bracket. But he's a player that I would like at Chelsea, but I think there's other business that we need to do before, if we were to spend that amount of money on someone like a Declan Rice. I think I would like to see a few more seasons of him in the Premier League. But yeah, I think he's a player that I think will be definitely on the move at some stage, because he'll want to make that step up. I think personally he'll want, all players want to win trophies and look back at their career, and I don't think he's going to do anything particularly at West Ham. I think the difficulty there is, West Ham are usually quite hard bargains. And being the captain of a club it makes it even harder. I think we've all seen that with Harry Kane as well. Probably would have left Tottenham a lot sooner if he didn't have the armband around his arm.
Yeah, I mean, George, I don't think there's any doubting the fact that Declan Rice would improve the Chelsea midfield and improve our side as a whole. Obviously, it's in a difficult position. West Ham are demanding a lot of money, which is their prerogative. He's obviously very valuable to them. He's young, got his best years ahead of him. Another difficulty for Rice as well in trying to force a move is the fact that it's been reported he's turned down 2 contract extensions, but he's still kind of crowbarred in at West Ham. He's got 4 years remaining on his deal. West Ham don't need to sell him. I can't see Chelsea paying £100 million, particularly if the Erling Haaland deal goes through. It's been reported that West Ham are admirers of Tammy Abraham. Could you possibly see a deal where Chelsea offer perhaps £40 or £50 million plus Tammy Abraham? And do you think that would represent good business for both clubs?
Maybe not West Ham, but I would certainly, if I was a Chelsea fan and you offered me Declan Rice for 40 mil plus Tammy, I think you'd take it all day long, bearing in mind that Tammy Abraham's not a first choice striker for Chelsea. And it's, reduced their transfer request by over half. So I think makes total sense for Chelsea. And like we said, there's, despite that not being a position that Chelsea maybe need to address urgently, I still think you don't turn it down. It does improve our side. And like you said, mate, before, you probably, if you're looking at it, you take out Kovacic, and Rice and Kante would be quite scary. So, I think that could potentially be an option. West Ham are very heavily interested in Tammy, as we know, and he's also been linked with Arsenal, as we've also documented. So I think Tammy's on the move somewhere, which not only opens up the door for us to definitely get a number 9. Now Giroud's definitely has gone also, but gives us a potential to get that player swap deal for someone that we also want at the club. So let's hope that deal does come into transition at some stage.
Just a quick thing on these player swap deals. Do you think that's going to be something that's going to be sort of a common theme sort of in this window and windows going forward, with the fact that clubs have been hit quite hard financially by the pandemic. Are you expecting to see a kind of a lot more of these player swap deals and players plus cash deals?
100%. I think it's the way forward in football. I just think the football I think there's got to be something done. I don't even know what FFP does now in terms of financial fair play. I mean, what's financially fair about clubs going in for players of 150 million plus? Doesn't make sense to me. And I think there should be a policy where it should be more encouraged to do swap deals and almost like drafting in the NFL kind of type thing. I just think it's more financially sustainable, and it's quite interesting. I think you kind of almost laying your cards on the table and saying we'll have this one for that one. Bit of a adult Pokemon in the playground almost type scenario. So I think we'll definitely see more of it. And I personally enjoy it. I think it's a good sensible way to approach it, particularly in a pandemic that we've been in. So I think Tammy is certainly a card that we should play with a swap deal with one of the clubs if he decides to go, rather than just having the cash.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think a big advantage for us as Chelsea fans is the fact that because we've got such a big squad, so many players out on loan, so many players that are surplus to requirements that could still do a job at a slightly lesser club. I think that puts us in a very strong position when, being able to offer up players that perhaps aren't good enough to do a job at Chelsea or aren't going to get a look in, but could definitely do a job at another club. And I think that's a very attractive proposition to other clubs in terms of the fact that they then don't have to go out shopping looking for someone else. They're already getting someone else in as part of the deal. So I think that puts us in a strong position there. But yeah, ultimately, I think it's going to be tough to get Declan Rice over the line this summer. I'd be very surprised if Rice was wearing a Chelsea shirt next season. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I'd be very surprised. I would expect the transfer business as we get into August to start heating up. The season about 2-3 weeks away from starting now. We've not got long left until everything kicks off. We really need to get some names through the door. So I'd expect that to start heating up. But guys, as always, make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Will Declan Rice be a Chelsea player next season? Let us know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and we'll catch you in the next one.